Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm so glad that you could tune in. I hope everyone's having a great day out there. Today's video is a little bit of a different video than what I normally do, but just bear with me. It's more for me than for you. I just want to vent my feelings and talk about something. So, with Kokomi on the rise and coming out in just a little over 2 days, I want to talk about the hate and toxicness in the Genshin Impact community surrounding new 5-star characters. I'm mostly going to be focusing on Kokomi for this video, but I will be addressing other 5-star characters that recently came out, such as the Raiden Shogun, Yoimiya, and Ayaka. It's so disheartening what's happening in the community surrounding new characters and how hateful people are being to people who want characters or don't want characters. And it generally does make me sad. The other day I was talking to my friends about how it was making me really upset. I literally almost started crying over this situation, believe it or not. I don't want to sound dramatic or anything, but it sucks. It's a game. We should all be having fun. We should all be working together. We all should be encouraging people, not belittling people just because they want a certain character or because they don't like a certain character. We all have opinions, I understand that, but we should all be nice about it and not like bash people. Like there's a saying, don't yuck my yum. Hi, I'm a dork. But so yeah, this whole video is mostly just for me venting my feelings because I just need to verbalize how I feel, well, instead of like bottling it up. And yes, these are all my opinions. So if you don't agree with me, that's completely fine. You don't have to agree with me. If you don't like what I have to say, you can just go to another video. There's an endless amount of videos on YouTube, so I'm not the only content creator. So anyway, this is going to be a very long video, so sit back, relax, get a drink, get a snack, and let's hang out and talk about it. Before I start talking about this whole situation, I want people to know where I come from and my love and appreciation for healing in a support role. Me, whatever game I play, if it's solo or co-op, self-objective or teamwork, I love playing healers. I love playing supports. 9 times out of 10, I will always play a healer. I will always play a support. Unless I get kicked out of that role and someone took that role before me and I have to pick something else, I will play something else. But I mostly love playing healing and support. Or that's one of my favorite things to do. And all my healers out there, all my support mains out there, you know the struggle of playing this role. If something goes wrong on your team, you are always the first one to get yelled at, no matter what. Even if it's the DPS, the ADC, the tank, anything. If they mess up, you're to blame. So it is a stressful role, but it also is very rewarding and it's fun to play. So I want people to know that's where I'm coming from. So now let's actually get into it. So hey, hi, I'm a Razor main. As for my support main, I don't necessarily have one because I've been switching between different healers throughout Genshin Impact because I haven't really found one that I resonated with and that I generally like so much that I want to main them. Like, Barbara is a really good healer, but she's not like my vibe, I guess. Benny's good, but I don't have him built, and Diona I just haven't finished leveling her and I haven't built her yet. Sayu, I've been playing a lot of Sayu. I love Sayu, but she's not necessarily the type of a healer that I want. I know there's a lot of debate between if she's a healer or she's a DPS or if she is a sub DPS or a support or something. I have her as a mix of more of like a support healer, like sub DPS kind of thing, because I have her with a lot of elemental mastery, which increases her healing and also increases her reaction damage. But that's besides the point. We can talk about Sayu another day. But I've been waiting for a healer to come out that I can genuinely love and want to main. Like, one healer in particular that I wouldn't mind having is Chi-Chi. I've been like waiting for Chi-Chi. I've been telling my friends, I said on the standard banner, I've gotten 3 5-stars off the standard banner, and I got pity broken twice. I got pity broken by a Kaching and a Mona, and then I had another Kaching and then 2 weapons from the standard banner. If one of them would have been Chi-Chi, I'd have been completely okay with that because I really just want like a healer that I could like. And I like how Chi-Chi plays, and I wouldn't mind having her. Same thing with Jean. I personally, I guess same thing as Barba, not really my vibe. So I personally don't really want Jean, but if I get her, I wouldn't mind building her because she is a very good character, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff that people can do with her. Now I want to talk about Kokomi. Kokomi, when I originally saw her when she was leaked and speculated to be Mimi or Meme, I fell in love with her. It was love at first sight. I loved her design. I loved her, like the idea about her. People were speculating that she was gonna be a 4-star Catalyst user, and that's all we knew. I didn't even know she was gonna be a healer. And I was like, I kept telling my friends, I was like, when she comes out, I'm gonna spend all my primo gems for her. I want her. I'm going to main her. And then I found out that she's gonna be a healer. Over the moon. And I've seen her abilities, and her rework, her redesign as Kokomi, stunning. I love it. She's so pretty. She's so gorgeous. I love her character. I love her animations. I love her attacks. I love her abilities. Even if she was the worst character in the game, and I'm saying garbage, saying if she was the worst, I would still love her. I would still play her because I love her character already, and we barely know anything about her. There is a lot of this is one thing that is valid with the hate around her, is that she kind of like dozed off in the story mode and we didn't really get to see much about her. But I don't really care about that because I feel like personally that 2.1 was more about the Raiden Shogun. I feel like we're gonna find out more about her in 2.2 and maybe 2.3 most likely, because we're getting her story quest, and that's going to build up for her actual like story, so we can find out more about her. Or we basically just got a little teaser of what she is, and now we're gonna get the full course. So yeah, I can understand people not liking her because of her story. We didn't really get to see much of her yet, so that is valid, but we're gonna see more of her later, and we're gonna get to know who she really is. Like, for example, I didn't really like the Raiden Shogun at first. I didn't really like her because of what she was doing to the people of Inazuma, stealing their visions and stuff. But then when you see all her little story trailers, you get to actually meet her, understand what stuff is, you get to start to like her a little bit more. Like, now, I like her now. Her taking people's visions away, should she have done that? No, but if you look at all of her story and like she lost people, she lost her sister and everything, you can understand her mentality and where she's coming from. And at the end of her story quest, she does end up giving her visions back. Like those 3 people that we go and talk to during the story mode, and we talk to them, and we try to figure out that we find out that their visions were taken away. If you go and check on them after the story ends with the Raiden Shogun, she ends up giving them back their visions, and they end up getting back their ambitions. They're back to normal. They're basically healed, which is amazing to find out. And that also, she undid all the damage that she pretty much did, and she's working to change and fix everything. And that's something that you can appreciate with the character. So that's something, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because that's how I'm trying to look at it with Kokomi. We barely know anything about her, but we're going to find out more about her in the story. Because I feel like right now, if we went into a lot of detail about Kokomi during this, I will agree that 2.1, the story was kind of rushed. I feel like we could have went more into Kokomi, but also at the same time, if we went a little too much into Kokomi, it would I feel like lessen what we're going to have in the future with her. So I feel like they wanted to focus more on the Raiden Shogun and her story, and then we're gonna finally go to her, because I feel like 2.2 is gonna be about 2.2 is gonna be about Kokomi, and I feel like 2.3 is gonna be about Yae. And yes, I know that this video is gonna be all over the place. I don't like writing scripts, and it makes me more it makes me stutter and makes me more monotone. I rather go on a whim and go where my mind leads me, because I feel like it's more entertaining to watch me struggle. I want to talk about Kokomi's abilities, and I will only be using the information that has been confirmed by MiHoYo. I am not going to be using any of the previous leaks or anything like that. I want to use what they have, so that this video don't get attacked by MiHoYo, because I'm using official information because some people have been targeted for using leaks before, and I don't want that to happen to me. And I just hit my desk. Okay, who is Kokomi? Kokomi is a Hydrus Catalyst user in Genshin Impact, and she will be coming out in 2 days. She is allegedly she's supposed to be a healing support, but also she has some DPS potential. The main controversy around her character is that she loses 100% crit rate, so she does not benefit from crit rate or crit damage, but she does gain a nice juicy healing bonus. And that's where everyone in the Genshin Impact community is going crazy just because she can't crit. Here's my thing. If she was meant to be a healer, let's say, wait, don't attack me yet. Let's say she was meant to be a pure healer. Why does she need crit rate? Why does she need damage? That's one thing I just want to say. If she was meant to purely be a healer and not supposed to do damage, then what's the problem? That's the one thing that I don't get with the Genshin Impact community is that, for example, people are like comparing her to Barbara, like, oh, Barbara can crit and everything, but people don't build Barbara with crit rate or crit damage. Some people will literally yell at you if you play a DPS Barbara instead of a healing Barbara, because Barbara is meant to be a healer, but doesn't mean necessarily that she can't do damage. There are a lot of people that main a DPS Barbara, and those people, I appreciate you, y'all are funny. But it makes no sense. It's like you can't talk about one character one way and compare them to another character and say something completely different. If you want to say that they are both one and the same, they should be treated the exact same way, and you shouldn't be caring if she has crit rate or crit damage, because no one does a DPS Barbara except like maybe like 1% of the Genshin Impact community. That's one thing that I wanted to say and get off my chest, because it's so annoying how people are treating one thing one way and then want to look at it another way. So hi, I'm passionate about this topic. I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk about Kokomi and her abilities, and then we'll go back to the situation with the healers and stuff, and I'll also trickle into meta and stuff. So her first talent is her normal attacks. They're known as Shape of Water. Her normal attacks, performing up to 3 consecutive attacks that take form of swimming fish, dealing hydro damage, and then charge attack consumes a certain amount of stamina that deals AoE hydro damage after 1 shot casting time. I can't read. After a short casting time. Hi, see, this is why I can't do videos like this, because see what happens when I try to read? But yeah, I should have the gif on the screen of like her charge attack. She's so pretty. I love her design. My only complaint with her whole character is that I really wish that when she runs, I wish that she swam in the air, like how she twirls around. I wish she like swam in the air when she ran. That's my only thing, because we have some characters that turn into like their elements and run underground. I'm like, why couldn't she swim? Because she could walk on water too. So it'd be cool if she could swim on top of the water. Anyway, let's move on to her next talent. Also, I want to point out that I'm really bad at reading, so if I pronounce something wrong or I can't read something, please don't at me, because whenever I see a word and I see the letters, they get jumbled up and I don't understand what letters is which, so I struggle with reading. We're gonna talk about her elemental skill, and her elemental skill is, I believe, called Karagi's Oath. Please, I hope I'm getting that right. Kokomi summons a Bakare I can't speak. That's created out of water that can heal her allies. While using this elemental skill, she will apply the wet status to herself. And this a little jellyfish creature that she summons, it deals hydro damage to surrounding enemies and also heals active nearby characters in fixed intervals. This healing is also based on Kokomi's max HP. I love this ability. It's so pretty. She summons a little jellyfish that just like hangs out in the air, and it does AoE hydro damage, and it heals at the same time. So it's basically similar to Sayu C1, which is really cool because Sayu's elemental burst is so nice. I love it, but it takes a while for her to get it. At least how I have her built right now. I don't necessarily have her built to be super crazy, but I love her elemental burst, and I wish I had her at C1. So it's very cool. It's like having Sayu's elemental burst as a skill, and from what I believe, it only has a 20-second cooldown. I am not 100% sure, so that's beautiful. And also from the gift that we can see, she's using it on an electro slime. The damage is 1692, so basically we could say 1700. 1700 per tick isn't bad. And also we're not including the electro charge damage. We can't really say it because this is an electro charge slime, it's immune to that type of damage. But if it was on something else, it would probably be very higher depending on her elemental mastery. And also I want to point out one thing is that I lost my train of thought. MiHoYo, when they're showing characters like test runs and everything, they don't build the characters to be overpowered like how people build their characters now. It's nowhere near how they build them. So this is maybe a pretty average build for people who have decent artifacts that don't have super crazy artifacts. So think about how she would be if people built her how they build characters now, like minus the crit rate and crit damage, but like they built them with like a lot of elemental mastery, HP, attack percent, and everything. Think about the crazy numbers that she can hit. I feel like she has the potential to get to 8,000 per tick. That's just me, but that's how I feel. And it's not confirmed on this page, but I do believe that the damage from her little guy is also based on her HP, but that is not confirmed yet. We're gonna find out when her confirmed information drops. And also her healing, each tick does I think it happens every 2 seconds, but it's so far it's 3,139, I believe. 36. That's a lot of healing. Like, it's so much. I wonder how much HP she has, because I know she has her signature weapon that it does have an HP percent, but we don't know what she has it at. It's most likely at level 80, because that's usually what we get, or maybe at least the last ascension. So that's pretty good. And also like her weapon does have a healing bonus and everything into it, so that's beautiful. Let's talk about her elemental burst real quick. All right, moving on to her elemental burst. I believe it's called Nerid Ascension. Kokomi summons the Might of Watasumi, dealing hydro damage to surrounding enemies before robing Kokomi in a ceremonial garment made from the flowing water of Sangonomiya. Ceremonial garments. Kokomi's normal attack, charge attack, and her elemental skill, I forgot how to pronounce it, damage is increased based off her max HP. Okay, yeah, so I was right. For her normal elemental skill, it's just based off her attack, and the healing's based off her HP. But when she uses her elemental burst, her damage is increased by her elemental skill. Not her elemental skill, it's based off her HP, so she does get a major attack boost to her normal ability. If you look at it in the picture, the burst damage that it does is 2,718, which is it's nearly doubled, almost double. Not completely. It would have to be in like the 3,000, but that's a lot depending on her max HP. So if you build her with a lot of HP, you could do a serious amount of damage. And then think about how much, if you were to build elemental mastery on her as well, that could be really good for elemental reactions. It could boost the elemental reactions that already exist. Moving on, I didn't finish reading all this. When a normal and charge attack hits opponents, Kokomi will restore HP to all nearby party members. and this amount that is restored is based off her max HP, which is very good. So it's similar to how Barbara does her elemental skill, and it's all based off attacks and charge attacks. But this way, it's more it's only during her elemental burst. So people can argue about that, but I think it's pretty much fine because when she goes into her elemental burst, she becomes more of a DPS in that sense because she's healing with each auto attack, but she's also dealing a lot of damage. Also, if anybody's wondering, I have read this all beforehand. I'm just talking about it as I'm going, as if I was a new person to Kokomi. To Kokomi, but I already know all this information. I read this already before when the information was confirmed. Also, moving on, this also increases Kokomi's resistance to interruptions that allows her to walk on the water surface. That's actually very, very cool. I'm glad about the interrupting thing because there are some characters that will throw you across the map. So that can help combat some of that, like the big hilly trolls and the ruin guards and some of the samurais. The walking on water isn't necessarily a game changer, but it is a nice, cute little feature, which I actually am very appreciative of, and I do like it. I think I'm getting too far away from the mic. I generally like it, and I think it's a very good little mechanic. Sometimes you're just in the overworld and you know for a fact you can't swim across, so it could be good for just getting around if you don't want to switch to Kaya and do a Kaya bridge. And the last part, this effect will also will be cleared once she leaves the field, so that's pretty much standard. I wish for one of her constellations, I don't think one of her constellations have it, but I wish that her ceremonial robes would stay if she switches to another character, because I think that would also be a very big game changer, because she would basically be similar to Bennett, where if she switched, they get damage based off her HP, and it would be cool if their basic attacks also healed instead of just hers, because I think that if that was one of her constellations, I feel like she would be one of the best characters in the game. Not only healers, but like as a healer, but also as a support, because she can basically boost other people similar to Benny. Maybe not as strong as Benny's boost as his ring, but I feel like it would be almost just as good. I don't know if it says it, but I believe her elemental skill, if the jellyfish is on the field and she uses her elemental burst, I believe it refreshes the timer so that it starts back. I don't see it anywhere on here, but I'm pretty sure people have said that before, so I'm hoping that is the case. Also, I don't want to talk about spoilers, but not spoilers, leaks, but there was a leak saying that she does gain damage based off 15% of her healing bonus, which is also really good. That's also another place where she's getting like increased damage from. I don't know if these little gifts, if she does have that talent activated, most likely she does. But if you think about it, she has 25%. If you had Maiden's Beloved, a 2-piece, that's 15. And then if you had I believe a Sands with a healing bonus, she could easily get to about 75 healing bonus, I believe. And that's a crazy amount of damage to have on her as a support. Like, yeah, like some people are gonna build her as just a support, some are gonna put her as a support sub DPS. There's so much potential that she has. I don't think she necessarily has to be one or the other. I feel like she has the opportunity to be both if built correctly. Where there's some characters that can only really be a DPS or a sub DPS, or some characters that are really only meant to be healers. She has such a lot of versatility in my opinion, and I'm so excited to have her. I literally lost the 50-50 for Yoimiya and got Mona. I really wanted Yoimiya because I kin her and I relate to her a lot. I'm like, hey, when I look at Yoimiya, I'm like, that's me. But because one of my friends convinced me, they're like, oh, you should get her because you're gonna have enough wishes for Kokomi and everything, and hopefully you win that 50-50, and if you lose this 50-50, you're guaranteed to have her. So I got Mona, and I have literally enough wishes to guarantee Kokomi, and I'm hoping I get her early enough because I also want to get her weapon, because her weapon gives you healing bonus, it gives you increased damage based off your HP, and gives you energy recharge. Perfect. I really hope I'm able to get her and her weapon. Now let's talk about the situation surrounding Kokomi. I want to talk about first the crit rate and crit damage situation. One, I'm very, very happy that we don't have to worry about building crit rate or crit damage about her. It makes getting artifacts for her, it makes it so much more easy and more it's less stressful to get artifacts. That's what I'm trying to say. Because getting a perfect artifact with attack percent, crit rate, crit damage, and like maybe elemental mastery or energy recharge, something like that. It's very difficult to get a good, like, first of all, to get a good main stat and then good substats. And there are a lot of people that are like, even if something has bad substats on it, they'll use it because it still helps them to survive and everything. Like, even if something had like a defense percentage on it, defense percentage, even if the character doesn't benefit it from their skills directly, like Noelle, having increased defense helps you survivability so that you can take more hits. Because mostly how people are building their character are as glass cannons, and then having like a Zhongli shield or a Diona shield or a Noelle shield or a Cheyenne shield. That's mostly how the meta is right now. It's mostly people have a shield and yeah, just mostly people just have a shield and just like a very hard-hitting character, which yeah, that is one way you can play. I'm not telling anyone how they can or can't or should or shouldn't play. Play however you want, but it's kind of annoying how people push their ideals onto other people to be like, this is how you should play Genshin Impact. Just because my character can't crit doesn't mean my character is not good. Like, my character can have a lot of elemental mastery so that they can, and a lot of like attacks so that they can do a lot of elemental reactions and stuff like that. They don't necessarily need to crit or anything. And people, that's like a controversial opinion, I get that. But personally, it's very annoying because when I try to get artifacts or anything, I always get stuff like HP percentage, energy recharge. Like a lot of the very bad artifacts that you get from farming, and because the RNG is like horrible for getting artifacts, this gives you a perfect chance to use artifacts that you would normally not use, and you can use them for other characters that could benefit from it perfectly. Like, if you had something with defense percentage and everything, and it all went to defense percentage, but the other stats were pretty good, if you didn't want to give that to your character, you could give that to like a character like Noelle. Noelle, her healing is based off her defense, and at C6, half of her defense is also converted into damage. So she could be similar to how I'm saying with Kokomi. With Kokomi, Noelle could also be a main DPS if you build her right. Build her with a lot of defense, get her to C6 and everything. She is a 4-star, which is like, you can argue like, oh, she's hard to get, but she's been on multiple banners. She had her own banner, so you are pretty much guaranteed to start off with a Noelle from the start. Right now, I wish I had a C6 Noelle because I really want to build her, but I'm waiting for her to get C6. I have her built a little bit, but not perfectly built. I'm just waiting a little bit more before I do it. I need only 2 more Noelles. But yeah, but anyway, back to what I was saying about the meta. MiHoYo is adding in different mechanics to make the game more challenging for players, which is one thing I very appreciate, because it could get pretty boring if you're doing the same thing over and over again. But MiHoYo's adding in new enemies, adding in new mechanics. Like, it's a very good move on their part to make the game more interesting. Like, people are arguing about the spiral best and everything. That's way too hard now because of the corrosion effect. Also, I want to point out one thing. There's a theory going around with a lot of people that are saying, besides like, people are like, for this is for Kokomi and everything. People are also saying that this might be an effect for the Dendro God. We're getting Sumeru, and the next region we're getting is Sumeru in 3.0, but we're not gonna get that for a few months. But people are saying that that's most likely what's the Dendro's Archon's abilities are going to be. It's going to be something like corrosion and everything, like poison. So that's probably one thing that they're also doing. They're trying to test the mechanics for the Dendro God because we haven't seen anything about her yet. So this is a good way for them to test out new features and mechanics. And also, I don't want to talk about leaks, but it is also speculated that we're getting these wolf enemies that can bypass shields and hit you directly. This is also to combat the shield meta, because if everyone is just walking around with a shield and a main like, the game can get boring at sometimes because you're doing the same thing over and over again. And people are going to argue about this. I understand that. But there's more to the game than playing it one way. MiHoYo is really trying to challenge their players and trying to make the game more interesting for us so that we don't get bored with the same content, because a lot of people brush through any new content really quickly and then they complain that there's nothing left to do. But with MiHoYo doing little things here and there, like adding in a new character, like a new enemy, a new mechanic here and there, makes the game a lot more interesting and makes it a lot harder, and it makes you really want to make other teams to combat certain situations, or to make a certain team just to fight a certain boss. I like that, and it makes me more motivated to build other characters. But back to the crit rate, crit damage thing. People are like, oh, we have too many healers in the game and stuff like that. We don't necessarily have a lot of healers. 2 of them are locked behind 5-star, which are all on the standard banner. Jean and Chi-Chi haven't had their own banner like Kaching yet. And not a lot of people have been pity broken and gotten those characters. And a lot of the time, people who get those characters don't want to build them out of protest because they're mad that they lost their 50-50 and they got a Chi-Chi or a Jean. And then the other healers we have, yes, we do have 4-star healers and everything. Barbara, I believe we're pretty much guaranteed to get her for free, or I don't think it's free anymore. I'm not sure. Benny's a really good character for healing, but he's not the most reliable. Unless you have a lot of energy recharge on Benny, it's very hard to consistently have his ring out on the field. Unless you have 2 pyro characters, then it's easier to build it up. Barbara is a very good healer. I'll give you that. Diona is a very good healer. Noelle's a good healer. Shinchu isn't really meant to be healing, but I believe his abilities can heal. I'm trying to think what other 4-star heal. Oh, Sayu. But Sayu's not, same thing as Benny. It's more of his their ultimates their elemental burst can heal, but not more like their abilities. Sayu can heal her with her abilities, but that's based off her elemental mastery, and you have to build a lot of elemental mastery on her if you want that to be an effective way to heal. So realistically, if we get rid of the 5-star characters, we have 4 characters that can heal, and 2 of them can heal pretty much constantly, while the other 2 have to rely on their elemental bursts. So take that as what you will. With Kokomi, she can heal at any time. She has her ability that heals every 2 seconds when she's in her elemental burst. If you have your skill on the field, it refreshes the timer. Speculating that it refreshes the timer, and then her normal attacks increase. They heal with her basic attack. So at all times, she's pretty much healing. As long as she has either one of her abilities out on the field, she's always going to be healing. And back to the discussion saying, she's not, she's the worst 5-star or whatever because she can't crit or anything. Now let's go back to the thing saying like, she's only a healer. If she was only meant to be a healer, why does she need crit rate or crit damage? If anything, they made her really good for healing wise, because they're giving her a healing bonus instead of like they're taking away crit rate, crit damage, something that they shouldn't be using for that character, and making it so that you can heal. If anything, they're making Kokomi such a great character just because they're getting rid of something that, because I think MiHoYo also knows that people don't get a lot of crit rate and crit damage substats or main stats on their artifacts. So being able to use these artifacts with HP percentage and flat HP is very beneficial towards her. And also they're making her, like, let's say she is mostly to be a healer. They're increasing her normal healing so that she heals all the time, because there are enemies that do a lot of damage, and you gotta keep in mind a lot of people don't build defense or anything on their characters, so that's so they take more damage, and sometimes it's hard to heal back. Let's say you're not Zhongli and you don't have a shielder and everything, you're taking a lot of damage. the healing that Kokomi is going to be doing is going to keep you pretty much full at all times. Because me, I don't really use shields. I rather have a healer on my team. And a lot of the times, if I don't have a good if my healer isn't like on the field or something, like my characters do take a lot of damage. And it's not like, oh, I don't know how to dodge or anything. It's like sometimes the characters you're like bombarded by a lot of enemies, and a lot of the enemies do a lot of damage and stuff, so it's very hard sometimes to do some of the content in the game personally without a healer. So a character like Kokomi is a perfect versatile character that we can use, not only for healing but for elemental reactions, because her from what I've seen, her elemental skill applies Hydro every 2 seconds. So if you have a character like, say for example, her with Fischl, or her with like a pyro character, like maybe like Yenfei or something, she can always be doing an elemental reaction, and if you have a good elemental mastery on her, she's going to be doing a lot of damage regardless. Now let's talk about her DPS potential. From what I can tell, I don't know the exact numbers based for her multipliers, but she's going to be doing an extreme amount of damage. If it's just based off her HP, she's also a catalyst user. You can, right now I plan on giving her a 4-piece Heart of the Depths, because whenever she does her elemental skill, she gains, I believe, a 40% attack damage, and also it's a Hydro bonus. I'm gonna put a Hydro goblet on her, and I believe her Ascension's multiplier is gonna be Hydro damage, so she's gonna be similar to Yenfei, where she's gonna have over 100 of a skill damage, like elemental damage. She has a lot of potential as a DPS. Is she gonna hit Hu Tao numbers like 200k or something like that? No. But is she gonna still hit pretty hard? Yes. And if anything, if you don't want to use her as a DPS and use her as like a sub DPS or something, you can still throw her elemental skill on the field and switch to someone else who can do elemental reaction, like Kazuha or Venti or someone like that can just increase the elemental damage and just do a lot of reactions, because her character is going to be putting Hydro on the character every 2 seconds, so that's every 2 seconds to do an elemental reaction. And since her damage does scale based off her HP, from what I read, she's going to do a lot of damage. As long as you have a lot of HP on her, you're going to be doing a lot of damage regardless. So I don't think it's the end of the world that she can't crit or anything, but I think it's still good, because she does get increased damage based off her healing bonus, and since she's getting more healing bonus in sacrifice of her crit rate and crit damage, she's still making up for it because of her bonus healing. So yeah, I pretty much covered the main 2 things before I get to like the other stuff, like how the crit rate and crit damage doesn't really matter, and she can still do a lot of damage. Even if you don't want to build her as a main DPS, you can still do her ability and then switch out to someone else. There are plenty of characters where you use their ability and switch to someone else. Like for example, Zhongling, you throw her Boba out, and he just does pyro damage while you switch to someone else. Or you have Fischl put Oz out on the field. There's a lot of characters where they switch out. It's just because since they're a 5-star character, it's doesn't mean that they can't use mechanics similar to that. They just because they're a 5-star doesn't mean that they necessarily have to be on the field 24/7. There are going to be 5-star supports that come out in the future. And also too, I want to mention that co-op, having a healer in co-op is so amazing. Like even like I was saying something about the shield meta where people have shields out and everything on the field. Having a healer in domains is so good. Like even if you can clear the domain in like a minute, less than a minute, having a healer is still good to have. And because sometimes you do the wrong thing and then you take damage and then something happens. There are some domains that do damage over time, like or the world boss like Senora. She does so like the bleeding damage that she's doing with like the cryo and the pyro damage over time. It's a lot of damage, and if you don't do something about it, you're gonna die. Zhonglig's dog, I don't know what his name is, Abdallah or something. He does a lot of damage, and for some of his forms, if you don't have a shield, you're gonna take damage over time, and it's such a perfect thing to have a healer for, so that the people who don't have a shield on your team, like if you don't have like a Diona or something, you can save them and heal them and everything, because some people are gonna play Eula or characters like that and go up and do damage, and they're gonna be the ones taking all the damage, so we need someone to help support them and heal them so that they don't die, because the second your DPS dies, your support's gonna die. You need both together so that it stays. I'm like losing my train of thought. It's early in the morning. I've been recording since 5 in the morning. But I hope you get what I mean. It's you need balance. You need both. I'm starting to get to the end, so let's go through my final part. So yeah, I talked about the shield meta, how like, this is one thing that got me mad. Someone was saying, you don't need a healer for this game. You don't need a healer to clear any of the content in this game or something like that. Or like for like maybe the only time you'll need a healer is for Spiral Abyss. Keep in mind they're a Zhongli main. They always have a shield on. I think that's pretty funny. You saying we don't need a healer, but you literally main someone who has the strongest shield in the game. You never experience what damage is, and you want to tell other people that they don't need a healer who don't have Zhongli. I have Zhongli personally, but I don't use him. I have him because I just want his character. But it's kind of funny how people will say that just because they have a shielder. So it's like, it's very annoying in my opinion. Also, no shade to my Zhongli mains, because some of y'all are actually really nice. So just that one in particular, yeah. Also, I want to point out something about Spiral Abyss for a second, because people were complaining like, we need Kokomi for I keep saying Kokomi, I'm sorry. Kokomi for the new Spiral Abyss. There are a lot of people that already did the new Spiral Abyss without Kokomi and used like other healers that were in the game or shielders. So MiHoYo's not forcing anybody to get Kokomi. And now here's my thing. Do you really, like, even if like, let's say you did need Kokomi, what are you losing out on? 50, 100 Primo Gems? 200, somewhere around there? Like, yes, that's one 10 pull, I understand that, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get all the stars. If anything, it's more of a challenge, and it makes you want to work on building your healers and actually put in the effort to think of new team comps and work things around and try, and it's challenging you to do different things instead of doing the same copy and paste thing. As I was saying earlier, if we're doing the same things over and over again, eventually it's gonna get boring. MiHoYo's challenging us, and we should rise to the occasion and actually work hard to improve and try to think of different combinations of stuff to do for Spiral Abyss. Has anyone ever seen that meme that was going around where it was Klee holding open a book, and basically what it was saying is like, if you don't like the Dragon Spine feature with the freezing, with the sheer cold effect, you're not gonna like Snezhnaya because they're like trying out different mechanics stuff, and that's gonna happen to Snezhnaya because Snezhnaya is the Cryo Archon's territory and it's gonna be snow and ice. So it's like, it's similar to that. It's like, if you don't like the corrosion effect, you're not gonna like Sumeru, most likely, because that's probably what's gonna happen to Sumeru. Anyway, but yeah, if you look on like the Twitter and stuff, there's like people that are like, I'm so excited for Kokomi, she's so pretty, I love her design, I love the animation, similar to me. Like, even if the character is bad, and like we're gonna still love her. Like literally, I was telling my friend, I said, hypothetically, if she was bad, I don't care, I'm still gonna play her. At the end of the day, I'm the one playing her. You don't gotta play her. And a lot of people are being very toxic and being like, if you join my world or whatever, or you join my domain and you're gonna play Kokomi, I'm going to kick you automatically. Or talking shit about people playing certain characters. And that's, first of all, you have no right to tell someone who they can or cannot play. The only time when there could be an argument on who you're playing is if you're going to a domain where there's like, let's say all cryo enemies, let's say like all pyro enemies, and you're playing like a pyro catalyst user, then that's when something you can play, because you can be like, hey, you use pyro and we're fighting pyro enemies and you're not going to be able to do damage because it's going to be immune, can you please switch? Just ask them to please switch and tell them what's going to be in the domain just in case maybe they forgot. You never know. Sometimes I'll go into a domain with a certain character and it's the same element and I'm like, oh great, I can't use this character. Be nice about it. Don't be an asshole and be like, oh, kick, or like, don't be rude. Like, for example, one of my friends, my friend Nebby, she mains Kaya, or at least that's one of her mains, and someone literally was telling her like, can you switch to someone else? Kaya sucks. Or like, and my friend's Kaya, her Kaya is beautiful. It does so much damage, and there also like I changed the topics for a second. There's also like a lot of like debate where people are like, oh, if Kaya was a 5-star character, everyone would be goo goo gaga over him. But since he's a 4-star, no one wants him. And that is a very valid argument and everything, because some of these 4-star characters in the game are sometimes better than the 5-star characters. Not gonna lie. And it's just play whoever you want. Like, for example, like any character in this game has the potential to be a very strong DPS. If you put in the time and the effort to build them, level them up, everything, they can be one of the best characters in the game. And just because someone's playing one of the starter characters like Lisa, Amber, or give them a chance. Their character is going to be very good. Just don't yuck their yum, please. Everyone has a chance to be very good, and you shouldn't be dictating what people should be playing or what shouldn't be playing. It's very disheartening, and it makes me very sad because I've joined games before where someone has joined into a match as a certain character and people have trash talked them, and it's very like it makes me sometimes not even want to play like co-op with people because how like rude and disgusting people are acting. But I have met a lot of good people on co-op too. Like, for example, the other day there was this Yoimiya's world that I joined in so I could farm the pearls for Kokomi, and I loved her and her friend. I forget what her friend's name was. I think they were either a Kaya or a Sha. I think they were a Kaya main. I loved them both. I was so tempted to drop my Instagram. I was about to be like, I want to be your guys' friend. Please add me if you want. But yeah, it's like that's one thing that people are being toxic. Like, people are threatening people, being like, if you're gonna play this character in my domain, I'm gonna kick you, or if you're gonna roll for this character, I'm gonna unfriend you. It's like, I'm like, you're not a true friend. If you're gonna unfriend someone because they're rolling for a certain character, newsflash, cut that person out of your life because they're kind of toxic, doing you a favor. It's insane. I had to take a quick little break real quick because my mom asked me if I can make her coffee. So right now I have her coffee being made right now on the stove. So back to what we were talking about. I lost my train of thought, so give me a second. But if you, let me just reiterate what I'm saying. If you're gonna be rude to someone because they're playing a certain character and everything, one, shut up. You have no right to tell someone who they can or cannot play. If they were playing like a level 1 character and we're in a level and we're fighting like the Senora boss, then ask them nicely to change someone who is appropriate level. Do not yell or demand someone to play a certain character, and just be nice about it. Don't be rude. That's all I ask. I want to spread more like happiness and like good energy. I just hit my mic, I'm sorry. Some good energy in the Genshin Impact community, because there are a lot of great people, but then there are a lot of shitty people who are very rude and frankly don't make me want to play co-op with them because they are very toxic and it's not a good energy to have. And also another thing I want to point out, people are like saying, oh Kokomi is going to be the worst 5-star ever, blah blah blah. Now think about it. MiHoYo is a $1 billion company. Do you think they're gonna waste money and put in a lot of effort into making a 5-star character and make them a bad playable character? No one's gonna do that. Also, another thing, if you're very skeptical about pulling for her, if you're not sure if you want her or not, and you think that she's gonna be bad, wait for people to pull for her and build her and then do showcases. Like, there's like some character like another content creator, Moga. He does showcases of 5 stars when they come out and stuff. There are other characters. I think his name is Adversity. He does. I believe he does showcases. I'm not 100% sure. I don't watch them all the time. There are people that do showcases, and if you're not sure if you want to pull a character, wait for them to do a video about them, talking about all the logistics of the character, and see for yourself if that's a character that you would like to have or not like to have, and then make your decision. Just because a character, like the character's not even out yet and people are being toxic and rude to each other, saying like, oh, don't you dare pull for this character, oh, if you pull this character, I'm blocking you, or block me, I don't care. You're not gonna change my opinion. And it makes me also like talking about like opinions and stuff, it makes me disheartened, and like it like makes me lose like my hype and momentum for a character coming out. I've been waiting for Kokomi to come out since she was leaked to be Mimi, and that was months ago, and I'm still excited for her till the very last second, until she comes out. And people like this are making me like sad. I literally almost cried the other day because of how much people are getting to me, because people are talking bad about this character. And it's like, oh, you're being dramatic, calm down. But it's like, at the end of the day too, it's like you're ruining people's like excitement for certain things because you're being a bummer because this character didn't reach your expectations. And also another thing, people are saying, oh, we have too many healers in the game and everything. I already pointed out all the healers. Compared to DPSs, we have so many DPSs in this game. Do we need another? Like, of course, we're gonna get more DPSs in the future. We're gonna get more healers in the future. Do you think we're only gonna have these 6 healers for all of Genshin Impact? No, we're gonna get more healers. And I can already tell you right now, the Hydro Archon is going to be a healer. And people are like, oh no, this isn't true. If you look at how the Elemental Resonance work, hi, I'm really getting like heated. How the Elemental Resonance works, that's basically a clue to tell you how those Archons act. And you get increased incoming healing with 2 Hydro characters. Literally, that means the Hydro character is going to be a healer. And out of 5 Hydro characters we have, only 1 is a DPS. You can build Mona as a DPS, but she's more of a support character. Other characters are support characters or a healer. It's just like, please be nice to each other. It's not the end of the world. Like, if we keep getting DPSs back to back, like, people are gonna stop pulling. We need a variety. We need different characters, because if everyone has the same DPSs, it's just, we need more variety. We need different people to play different things and different stuff. There's going to be enemies later that are probably going to have the corrosion ability that can apply to people. You're going to need healers in the future. You're going to need supports. You're going to need DPSs. There's going to be varieties. There's going to be more challenges to come in the future, and it's up to you if you want to be able to adapt to it and change your builds and work and try to find different solutions to these problems. And here's another thing where people are like, oh, I'm not pulling for this character because they're trash or whatever. Okay, you don't have to pull for a character. It's completely your choice, but don't get mad at other people who are pulling for this character. They'll be like, you're wasting your money. First of all, people waste money every day on the stupidest shit. Do you think them wasting money on a character from a gacha game is going to be the end of the world for them? No, it's not. Just let people do what they want and let people have fun. Some people get joy out of buying little things like this. Like, yes, if you're spending money on Genshin Impact, you're spending a decent amount of money, but just let people have fun and do what they want. And like, just don't be rude to a character just because, like, oh my god, they're because they're not your playstyle. Don't be an asshole about it. On the other hand, people who are actually skipping Kokomi's banner for characters reruns or whatever, they're like, oh, like a lot of free-to-play players, like one of my friends who was free-to-play, they literally been saving all their Primo Gems and wishes just for Xiao's and Albedo's rerun. I have another friend that's saving their Primo Gems for Ye because they don't know when Ye is going to come out, and they're a free-to-play player, and they want to save their wishes because they want to guarantee to have them. Because that, like, if you generally like a different character and you want them so bad and you're willing just to skip a bunch of banners just for that character, you're 100% valid, more than 100% valid, because you have the dedication and the willpower to resist wasting any resources for a different character that you're probably not going to play. Like, for example, I got Zhongli. I really wanted his character, but I don't really play him. So honestly, in retrospect, I'm going to build him eventually and use him. But in retrospect, I probably should have just skipped out on him and just saved my wishes for someone else. One character that I generally wanted was Ganyu, but I ended up getting pretty broken by Kaching. I did like a test run with her and everything, but I'm kind of glad in a way I didn't get Ganyu, because playing on mobile aiming with a bow isn't the best. But if I aim for the floor, it's how she plays, it's not that bad. So I actually am reconsidering pulling for her again. There are some characters that I can't really play with because they're on mobile, or it's hard to play with them because I'm not really good with their playstyle. Like Hu Tao, she's good at being at low health and everything. Her damage scales off health and everything too, which is also a really cool feature. Like, I want her, but at the same time, I don't know if I would truly utilize her, because I don't know if I would be able to handle her playstyle. And that's also another valid thing, because you don't know if you can play their playstyle. But at least I'm not being a jerk about it, being like, oh my god, Hu Tao's awful because you have to play with her with no HP. Like, no. I'm not gonna say stuff like that. If you want to play Hu Tao, you play Hu Tao. I kind of want Hu Tao. I'm debating if I actually want to pull for her when she gets her rerun. I don't know yet. But at the end of the day, just be nice. Don't threaten people because they're playing a certain character. Okay, let's wrap this up by talking about some of the other Inazuma characters that people are complaining about and getting very angry about. I'm mostly going to be focusing only on the 5-star characters. Especially the characters for Inazuma, because Inazuma's characters are playing a different way, and they're trying to steer away from the meta with like energy recharge and stuff like this, and different from like the meta that everyone has been doing all this time. And people are like getting disappointed because, like, for example, the Raiden Shogun, you have to build her a certain way. She can be very, very powerful if building right. And some people were like kind of lackluster, and they're like, oh, the Raiden Shogun's not that good. I don't really like her that much, because I really wish I didn't pull for her because she's not what I thought she would be. But she has the potential to be very good. You just have to put a lot of time and effort into building them and making them perfect and really good artifacts. Yoimiya is another one. It really broke my heart. I really did cry about Yoimiya, because one, I want Yoimiya. I kin Yoimiya. For all people who know who are kinnies and what kinning means. I only kin 2 people, and Yoimiya is the second person I kin. I really, really like Yoimiya. Whenever I see her, I'm like, that's me. I love how she gets so excited about the littlest things. She goes on, she starts rambling off, and like, she doesn't realize that she's rambling sometimes, and then she'll catch herself and she's like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I was going off on a tangent and everything. I literally do that. You can ask one of my friends, my friend Ollie, for example. We'll literally having a conversation about something like random, and I'll come in and I'll be like I'll go on a whole spiel about something stupid like Winx Club or something. Even like you guys, my Genshin group chat and everything with like Nebby and stuff in it. I literally go on a whole tangent about Winx Club out of nowhere, unprovoked. Literally, the chat could be silent for days, and I'll come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, so Winx Club, and I will go on a literal hour spiel talking about Winx Club in explicit detail. And that's something that Yoimiya does, like how she knows if like fairy tales and everything aren't real, but she likes to believe in them. Oh my god, I hit my pen and it fell on the floor. God damn it. But like, see, I generally loved her character, and people are like shitting on her character, like even if like her, like some people didn't like her personality, which is like, okay, whatever, and people were talking shit about her kit. Literally, I've seen so many Yoimiyas that are overpowered. I wish I had Yoimiya. I can't wait for her rerun. But at the end of the day, it's whatever. I'm just gonna have to wait. But people are, oh my god. People are so rude. They're like, oh my gosh, she's such a horrible character. Her but like, I've seen there's a lot of people that talked about that drama and everything, and I've seen like the issues with her, but it can simply be fixed with coding and animation fixing. That's pretty much what they have to do, because the bow characters aren't really meant to. She's the first, like, technically, like, bow DPS that uses auto attacks, and she hits so fast that a lot of the arrows miss most of the time. But that can just be fixed with some recoding and some animation changes. That's all they pretty much have to do to fix her. And then there's another thing with her internal cooldown with elemental reactions that they could definitely fix that right away. But I don't know when they're gonna fix that. But like pretty much from those two things, those are the only two things that I've seen that don't really work against her. And a lot of people made a big deal about that. And it's like, and people are like, oh, if you play Yoimiya, I'm gonna kick you out of my world or blah blah blah. Like, let people play who they want to play, and just be nice to people, please. That's all I'm asking. People are just being mean to people left and right just because they're playing a certain character or they're not playing the way that you would play. Everyone is different. Like, here's like an example. This is a random example, but an English teacher told me one time, no two people read the same book. No two people are gonna play the same character. People are going to play characters a little bit different than each other. Some people might build them one way, some people are going to build them the other way. Even if they do the same amount of damage, they're going to be played differently. And same thing with Ayaka. A lot of people were so excited for Ayaka. She, like, since like launch, they were waiting for her, waiting. And as soon as she got here, she didn't meet expectations that people were wanting. People were like lackluster. They were like, this is what we've been waiting for all this time. And Ayaka, if built correctly, like I said with other characters, she will be devastating. But just because she doesn't reach the expectation that you wanted just with your average artifacts, don't be disappointed. You just have to rework her and build her and put in time. That's what I'm trying to say. And just don't get mad when other people are playing Ayaka or not doing as good as you would normally do, because at the end of the day, getting artifacts is RNG, it's luck. Not everyone is going to be lucky and get the most perfect artifacts for their characters. And it's very disappointing. And I just wish that everyone would just get along and just have fun. It's a game after all. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I think I got my point across. Even after all this, if you still hate Kokomi, you hate Yoimiya, you hate the Raiden Shogun, whatever, those are your opinions, but I would just ask that you just don't yell at other people because they don't like the character. If anything, you should be encouraging people, being like, oh, I don't want this character, but I hope you get that character. Or, hey, oh, I hope you, if they're struggling getting artifacts, you should encourage them, be like, hey, you can do this, you can get the artifacts, I'm manifesting it for you. Just be nice and just have fun and just let's make this community better. And if another character that comes out in the future doesn't reach your expectations or you don't like, you can be upset about it, but don't be a dick about it. Like, for all we know, Toma's coming out. Well, everyone thinks that he's gonna be really good. Who knows? Maybe he might be really bad. Don't get mad at people who main him. Or Ye. People are thinking that, oh my god, Ye is gonna be so amazing. But then there is also a chance that Ye isn't going to be all that. We're going to have to see in the future. Just at the end of the day, just be chill, be nice, encourage other people, and just don't belittle someone just because they play a certain character or if they don't play the way that you agree with. At the end of the day, it's their game and they're going to have fun. For example, there has been many times where people have joined my world to do a domain and stuff where they don't do a lot of damage or wasn't really helping out and everything, but I still kept them and everything because they're trying to have fun and everything. At the end of the day, it's not that serious. We try to work together, we could try to work things out, maybe give them tips here and there, try to help them out, encourage them. At the end of the day, we should all be having fun and trying to make this community better than what it already is instead of belittling people and adding more toxicness in it. Trust me, I wouldn't want to be in a community that belittles people and is toxic to each other just because of one simple little thing. Anyway, that concludes our video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry for this hour-long video. No one asked for it, but I was gonna make it, so you know, I'm sorry. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. And question of the day: are you pulling for Kokomi or are you skipping her banner for someone else? Please let me know down below. Anybody who is going for Kokomi and is trying to get her, I hope that you guys get her in your first 10 pull, and I hope you get multiple of her, because that's what I'm hoping for. If you'd like to support me, feel free to like the video, subscribe, check out some of my other videos. I am trying to get monetized on this YouTube channel. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, a TikTok, and everything linked down below, so feel free to go check me out on over there if you're interested. Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you all for hearing me out and hearing for what I had to say, and I will see you all next time.